A good evening to you and many thanks for joining us. You're watching the evening news on ABS and I am Ifunanya Amafili. Governor Obiano orders reinforcement of security at INEC offices following fire outbreak yesterday. Collective efforts towards elimination of drug abuse advocated. Code of Conduct Tribunal orders arrest of Chief Justice of Nigeria Onogan. And on the foreign scene, flood kills 500,000 cattle in Queensland, Australia. And we'll start with the news in details. Governor Willie Obiano has expressed optimism that the forthcoming elections will be peaceful, free, fair, and credible. Addressing the press shortly after an emergency security council meeting at the Governor's Lodge, Amobia, Governor Willie Obiano said the security agencies in the state are ready to aid a peaceful election. And our Government House correspondent, Ejike Abana, filed the report, which is taken from our studio.
Governor Obiano, who called on the Anambra to come out and exercise their civic duty of voting, noted that, having been briefed, security agencies in the state are all on alert to maintain law and order. Concerning the recent fire incident at the INEC headquarters in Oka, Governor Obiano stressed that, having been briefed, necessary security measures have been put in place, while fire equipment has been deployed to all INEC offices and locations in the state, among additional measures to prevent a reoccurrence as investigation has commenced to unravel the cause of the inferno.
I want to ask the Anambra to please come out and exercise their civic duty this Saturday and also on March the 2nd. I want to reassure you that from the briefs I received, the law enforcement agents are very ready for this exercise. Very, very, very ready. And anybody planning to foment trouble will find that they will not allow me to do so. So I'm encouraging everybody to come out and cast their vote, and stay peacefully, because like we did before in my re-election on last year, November the 17th, we're going to repeat again here. We're going to have a very peaceful election, and I once more encourage everybody to please come out and vote that day. Everybody that has the card, to come out and vote. If you don't have your card, you have no business at the polling unit.
Meanwhile, INEC said it has taken immediate measures to ameliorate the fire disaster by mopping up some of the spare cards readers from other states to deploy to Anambra State. Speaking in Abuja, the National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voter Education Committee said, with the steps so far taken, the Commission remains confident that the election in the state will proceed as scheduled. Okoye said that, in the meantime, INEC had reported the incident to the police and the fire service, and investigations into the cause had commenced.
Governor Willie Obiano has called on the federal government to compensate coast-charred farms for the loss it suffered as a result of the recent flood disaster that ravaged some states of the Federation. Governor Obiano made the call at Anako in Ayamelum Council area during an inspection visit to the farm. And our Government House correspondent, Ejike Abana, reports.
Governor Obiano recalled that the farm ran into a loss of over 2.5 billion naira, stressing that the farm lays credence to the state government efforts to promote commercial rice farming in the state. The governor said that if they commence dry season farming as he was briefed, they will have production capacity of about 35,000 metric tons of rice and 50 to 60,000 metric tons per annum, saying that few farms have the opportunity to be sited close to the river.
I would like the federal government to compensate this big farm for the huge loss suffered during the flood. If you look at the aerial picture during that period, you see that every place here was under, except this pumping area, was submerged. So I'm very happy to learn that they will be commencing dry season farming I think they will harvest in 4 months' time.
The governor later took time to inspect an irrigation system created by the company from the Anambra River to aid its dry season farming. According to the farm manager, Mr. Bharat Dare, dry season farming is expected to take off in a week's time, explaining that rice harvest will commence in 4 months' time.
This pump station can irrigate 2,500 acres for the year. For 2,500 acres, it can irrigate. Each pump has got capacity of 1.25 cubic meter per second. And this is a world-class pump station.
Koshad Farm is one of the major stakeholders in rice farming and production in the state. Recall that during the recent flood disaster in the country, the length and breadth of Koshad Farm was submerged in flood water, which incurred loss of over 2.5 billion naira. From Koshad Farm, Anako, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
As the general elections remains few days to commence, the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA, has continued to gain momentum as members of other political parties in the state defect to the party following its commitment to good governance. This was witnessed at Akwaeze, Obeledu and Agulu communities in Anochia local government area, when the state deputy governor, Dr. Nkemu Keke, accompanied Senator Victor Ume to the areas for campaign rally, where over 27 members of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, defected to APGA in their pledge to ensure the re-election of the senator representing Anambra Central Senatorial District at the National Assembly and other APGA candidates. And our correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo was there and now reports.
Addressing the people, Deputy Governor Keke described the All Progressives Grand Alliance APGA as an Igbo party which does not segregate but fights for the good of all, assured that the party will not disappoint them if given support. In his speech, Senator Ume commended the people for having faith in APGA and assured that the party will continue to be people-oriented and initiate more infrastructural projects in all parts of the state.
Constituency projects, construction of pavilion at Akwaeze Community Cultural Center. I'm on the location. On that team in a budget, I got 15 million naira. Any scholarship to more than 70, 10 per local government to university level from first year to final year.
In their remarks, some leaders of thought in the areas, including Chief Dan Obuefi and Engineer Emeka Ejiofo, said APGA is there to the people as they have benefited much from the party, promising to vote massively for its candidates. The traditional ruler of Akwaeze community, Igwe Christopher Okpala, described Senator Ume as a senator with a difference and prayed for his victory in Saturday's election.
Onye nduzi kwekwafu onye nke anyị famoga eba fane ekete oge anyị ọ dị m ụsọ na deputy governor nọkwu ebe a nakwa ụzọ anyị na-ekwu ụzọ ụmụ ideke ụmụ otu adazi elu si mara ife mere ka eme ya ife mere ndị ọzọ ọ ga-adị anyị obi mma.
The senator also during the visit paid homage to the traditional ruler of Agulu community, Igwe Innocent Obodako, in company of the deputy governor, Dr. Nkemo Keke. From Agulu in Anocha Council area, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo, reporting for ABS News.
Still on politics, as this year's election draws closer, Akwaeze and Obeledu communities in Anocha local government area have resolved to vote All Progressive Grand Alliance APGA candidates. They made their stand when the member representing Anocha, Njikoka and Dunukofia at the National Assembly, Chief Dozie Nwankwo, visited the area in continuation of his re-election campaign rally. And we'll join Emmanuel Chibata for the rest of the story.
Speaking at the campaign ground, Chief Dozie Nwankwo expressed satisfaction on the turnout of supporters, including party officers, youths and stakeholders, and assured that his constituents will be well represented. The legislator said that he has maintained transparency and accountable in his representation, but will do more if re-elected, urging them to vote him.
Nkwado na-akwado anyị ncha niile ọmalike ogbefinuka efu na mụnwa anyị ga na-arụ ọrụ n'ụsị anyị na-arụrụ ụnụ na-eme iwu ga-adị mma for ndị Igbo.
In his speech, the President General of Akweze, Dr. Ignatius Madoka, the former Vice Chancellor of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, Professor Peter Ejiofor, and an APGA BOT member, Dr. Ifenyinwa Obegolo, said that Chief Nwankwo has lived up to the expectations of his constituents and pledged their total support in making sure that APGA won landslide victory in all the elections.
Ebe niile ebe na-akụzi ebe na-arụgo ọrụ niile na-agwa ndị Igbo si ya a sị na Igbo nwere eze mana Igbo nwere eze aha abụ na-erikọganaịzọ dịka asị na amarọ apụga bụ pati ndị Igbo.
O doro anyị anya ebe a ga-atụ Igbo ebe anyị ga-enye ebinye aka obere n'ụlọ apụga
mgbasa ahụ a ga-atụ vootu ebe ka a ga-ebinye aka unu ejikwa n'aka nke izizi a na na-ebitọka akwụkwọ unu ruo unu ewere aka nke a ma nke obere a ma nke obere a ma nke a unu rụchara ya unu atụọ ya n'etiti bam.
From Obeledu in Anosha local government area, Emmanuel Shibata, ABS News.
A subcommittee of the newly inaugurated Presidential Advisory Committee, PAC, on the elimination of drug abuse in Nigeria has visited Anambra State to discuss with concerned stakeholders the most effective methods towards curbing the scourge of drug abuse. The 6-member subcommittee, which oversees the Southeast Zone, is headed by the wife of the governor of Imo State, Mrs. Nkechi Okorocha, and Daniel Ezigwe reports.
Present at the meeting, which was held at the Anambra State Government House, Awka, were representatives of the Nigeria Prison Service, Nigerian Immigration Service, Federal Road Safety Corps, National Security and Civil Defense Corps, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Anambra State Universal Basic Education Board, and Post-Primary School Service Commission, among others. Addressing the gathering, the team leader, Mrs. Okorocha, who was represented by Hajia Wasilat Audu, said the subcommittee was in Anambra State to gather information and develop an appropriate model for eliminating drug abuse, especially at the grassroots. Mrs. Okorocha, who called for strict internal controls among drug manufacturers, noted that the challenge of drug abuse must be tackled collectively, thus the need for the message to be taken to all community levels.
If there are no synergy between agencies, that is when you have loopholes. That is when you have these criminals coming in to penetrate. But once there is synergy, there's no loopholes for them. So we should not even allow that. The fact that you work in prison does not mean that you say anything wrong in any other agency, you will not say it.
Earlier, the State Commandant of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Mr. Sule Momodu, said the agency has had great strides with Governor Willie Obiano in eliminating illicit drug peddling in Anambra State, and restated the agency's resolve in championing the crusade.
We have mounted campaign, but the people have just refused to accept us. And I have also thrown challenge to people to say, if you have ever given information to us and the person came back to you, come and tell me who that person is. Because there's confidentiality in our information management.
The Permanent Secretary, Office of the Secretary of the State Government, Pharmacist Iman Ude Abe, said the issue of drug abuse must be taken seriously and advocated a change of approach towards its elimination.
Young people right from the primary school, maybe some persons who, for one reason or the other, find it difficult to probably secure the employment, think the only way out is to probably go to drugs. When the effect of the drug wears out, the problem remains there. So there are better ways. And one key way I believe we all must do about this is enlightenment. From the home, communities, in our professions, everybody must be involved.
The participating stakeholders also made contributions to the discussion, providing insights into their fight against the scourge and asked questions where necessary. The Presidential Advisory Committee on the Elimination of Drug Abuse was set up in October 2018 with various subcommittees for each of the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. The subcommittees work on the fields, collect results, and report to the National Committee. In Oka, Daniel Ezigwe, ABS News.
The Code of Conduct Tribunal has ordered the Inspector General of Police and the Director General of the Department of State Security Service to arrest the suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onogen. Onogen was absent again when the tribunal, where he is facing trial over allegations of non-declaration of assets, resumed on Wednesday. Buhari in January suspended Onogen and replaced him with the Supreme Court's second-ranking judge, Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, in an acting capacity. The president said he was acting under the orders of the Code of Conduct Tribunal. The suspension was roundly criticized by opposition leaders and the legal community, while the United States and European Union said it could undermine the February 16 polls. The 3 judges at the Court of Appeal in Abuja, headed by Danladi Umar, ordered the security agencies to produce Onogen at the tribunal on Friday. The CCT made the order following an application by the lead prosecuting counsel, Aliyu Umar, SAN, who said the consistent absence of the Chief Justice of Nigeria from the Code of Conduct Tribunal was a violation of provisions of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act. Moving over to the foreign scene, after 7 years of drought, elated cattle farmers in the Australian states of Queensland welcomed the rainstorm heading their way as a blessing. But now, after one of the most devastating deluges in the state's history, a billion-dollar industry could be left in tatters. Authorities estimate that nearly 5,000 cattle worth about $213 million have been killed by flooding in Queensland North since the rain began falling late last month. The downpours have ended, but the cattle carcass remains, baking in the record-breaking summer heat. If not buried or burnt, they will pose a health hazard. Video taken from overhead at one location shows scores of dead cattle huddled together amidst the devastation. Many of the cattle that survived can't be reached since roads aren't passable yet. Authorities have resorted to airdrops to provide feed, but the affected areas are so vast they may not be able to reach all the animals in need. And moving over to sports, Nigerian manager Grenot Raw has posted that there are no big players in the current Super Eagles squad headed ahead of the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations, adding that they must play as a unit to be successful at the tournament in Egypt. The former Bayern Munich defender argued his point by declaring that no Nigerian international was included in Africa's finest 6 at the 2018 CAF Awards. He explained that since the World Cup, the team changed and some new young players have been invited who did very well, and some of them are playing in Europe and in other big teams. He explained that the strength is playing collective football with a good spirit. Ahmed Musa, Obi Mikel, Emmanuel Emeneke, Junior Ajayi, Joseph Yobo, Taye Taiwo, and Vincent Eyema have been included in CAF Team of the Year in the past. Now, don't forget that you can follow our news and programs on ABS from any part of the world simply by logging on to our website, which is www.absradiotv.com, or like us on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television, or follow us on our Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube handle at ABS Radio TV. Before we end the news, we'll go through our main points trending for this evening. Governor Obiano has ordered reinforcement of security at INEC offices following fire outbreak yesterday. Collective efforts towards elimination of drug abuse advocated. The Code of Conduct Tribunal has ordered the arrest of Chief Justice of Nigeria, Onogen. And on the foreign scene, floods have killed 500,000 cattle in Queensland, Australia. And with that, we'll wrap up the news this evening. Many thanks for being with us. My name is Ifanaya Amafili. Have a pleasant evening.